If you live in the Lower Mainland, chances are you've heard people raving about pre-sale properties. They're super popular, but the big question is, are they the right choice for you? In this video, I'll walk you through the pros and cons of buying pre-sale properties so you can decide if it's the right move for you. What's going on, guys? My name's Alex Dunbar. I'm a realtor based out of the Surrey and Langley areas here in BC. Today, I'm breaking down everything you need to know about pre-sales from start to finish. The truth is, most of the time you only hear about the benefits of buying pre-sales, but rarely do people talk about the risks. That's why I wanted to make this video to give you a full picture and help you make the best decision for your situation. So let's get started with the basics. A pre-sale is when a developer sells the rights to a unit in a project before it's even built. You're essentially buying a contract for a unit that will be finished in the future, usually 1 to 3 years down the road. Here's how it works. You and your realtor visit the developer's showroom, if they have one. You get to check out the floor plans, pricing, and other important details. If sales haven't started yet, you'll probably be added to an email list. Once sales begin, you'll fill out and submit a unit request form. These forms are usually processed on a first-come, first-served basis, however, sometimes it can be a lottery. If sales are already underway, a team member will let you know what's still available. They'll also help you fill out a contract if you decide to move forward. What's important to know is that pre-sales are often sold in phases, with prices increasing as more units are sold. That's why getting in early can save you money. Developers usually give early access to their friends and family first, followed by VIP realtors they have relationships with, and then the general public. If you're able to get in early, you could see a financial benefit because prices are lower at the start. Typically, price isn't really negotiable, but depending on the developer and the market, you might be able to negotiate other things like the deposit structure or upgrades for your unit. Once your offer is accepted, you'll enter a 7-day rescission period. This gives you time to do your due diligence and make sure that you're happy and comfortable to move forward. If you decide not to move forward, you can back out with no penalties and you don't even have to give a reason. If you decide to proceed, however, your initial deposit will be due at the end of this period. Unlike resale properties where you usually provide a lump sum deposit up front, pre-sales often allow you to pay the deposit in stages. This typically ranges between 5 and 15% of the purchase price. For example, you might pay 5% at the end of the 7-day rescission period, another 5% 6 months later, and the final 5% a year after that. This staggered payment structure gives you more time to save. The good thing is that you don't need to qualify for a mortgage until the property is closer to completion, which is usually 2 to 3 years down the road, as I mentioned. This flexibility is great for a variety of circumstances, such as being at a lower paying job now and expecting to earn more in the future. However, you have to be very certain about what your future is going to look like, and it can't just be based around expectations. But this is a conversation you're going to want to have with a mortgage broker, so if you'd like me to connect you with a trusted professional, reach out and I'd be happy to do so. Alternatively, if you'd like to get a mortgage pre-approval done, I do have a link down in the description that can fast track your process, so be sure to do that. Now, another benefit of pre-sales is that it also gives you additional time to prepare financially. Many buyers assume that the unit will be worth more by the time it's complete than when they first purchase it, which can be a nice bonus and does happen a lot of the time. However, this isn't always the case. Another perk of buying a presale is the ability to customize your unit. Developers often let you choose between different color schemes, or you can also add upgrades like better flooring or an electric vehicle charger for an extra cost. Something else to note is that presale units come with something called a 2-5-10 warranty. This means you get 2 years of coverage on labor and materials, 5 years for the building's exterior, such as the envelope, and 10 years of coverage for the structural aspect. This warranty gives you peace of mind that major issues will be addressed if they come up. Before you move in or have a tenant move in, you'll get to do a walkthrough of your unit with someone from the development team and your realtor. This is known as a deficiency walkthrough. During this time, you'll mark any deficiencies such as paint touch-ups, scratches, or any other sort of deficiencies in the building, typically with green tape, and the builder will fix these issues before handing over the keys. Something to note is that with the changes to the tenancy laws in BC over the past number of years, new developments can't restrict rentals. So whether you're buying the unit to live in or as an investment, you don't have to worry about whether you can rent it out or not. Another potential benefit is the ability to assign your contract. This means you can sell your contract to someone else before the unit is complete, pocketing the difference in price known as the lift. Keep in mind that not all developers allow assignments, and those that do often charge a fee, typically 1% to 3% of the purchase price, or sometimes it can be a set amount. On top of this, you'll also need to pay the realtor and lawyer fees if you're assigning your unit. Additionally, you're also going to have to pay GST on the lift. So it's not quite as clear cut as you bought the property for $500,000 and assign it for $550,000 that you're going to get that $50,000 difference, because you're going to have a bunch of fees prior to taxes that you're going to have to pay that will take away from that. Additionally, you can't usually assign the unit until the developer has sold all similar units. For instance, if you bought a 1-bed unit, you'd have to wait until the developer sells all their 1-beds before you can assign it. So while pre-sales have plenty of benefits, there's also a number of risks as well. You'll need to pay 5% GST on top of the purchase price, which means, for example, in a $600,000 unit, that's an additional $30,000. This is extremely important to know because it's something you're going to have to budget for. However, the good news is that you can lump this GST into your mortgage if you choose. Something else to note is that when they give you estimated completion dates, they're exactly that, estimates. They could be weeks, months, or even potentially years off. And from my experience, typically projects are a little bit later than expected. However, in recent years, we've actually seen a number of them completing early, some as early as 6 months early. So it's just a risk you need to be made aware of. Now, if the project doesn't get completed, you will get your deposit back, but your money will have been tied up for years with no return. So while not necessarily a risk, it is taken away from your potential opportunities elsewhere. Additionally, until your unit is actually complete, you don't know exactly what you're getting. Yes, you get to go into the showroom and see the finishings and everything else. However, that is the showroom. That is the unit that they're going to make look the best. That's not to say they're not going to do a good job on your unit, because the majority of time they do. However, it's just something to keep in mind, because you don't get to actually go in and physically touch, feel, and see the space until it's finished. That's why it's extremely important to research the developer to make sure that they have a good track record. Now, another risk to keep in mind is that since you don't need a mortgage right away, your financial situation could change before the unit is complete. Now, while you might be thinking that it's always going to be for the better, it could also potentially be worse. The good news for you is that there are specific programs where you can actually get a mortgage pre-approval up to 2 or 3 years out that is going to guarantee you're able to get financing at the future date. Now, this isn't something that most people are aware of, but it's something I highly suggest you do. The reason being is that it's going to give you a safety net just in case something does change with your financial situation. Maybe you lose your job, or maybe there's changes in the market which don't allow you to qualify at a future date. The good news is that this, as I mentioned, is going to give you that safety net. However, if there's better mortgage products or you're in a better situation in the future, you can still take advantage of it at that point in time. Because if you don't go about doing this and your situation does change and you can no longer qualify for a mortgage in the future, you could lose your deposit and even potentially more. And on the same note, that's why I always suggest that you make sure you're in a position to complete on a pre-sale, even if things don't go as planned. A lot of people that have been getting into the pre-sale market in recent years have no intention on completing on their units and just think that the market's always going to go up and they'll be able to assign it for a profit. However, we're seeing this right now that people are getting into trouble with this. And in certain markets, we're seeing a ton of assignments that aren't selling or are selling at a discount based off of what their original purchase price was. Assignments can always be a good backup option or the cherry on top if prices do go up, but you should really only be buying if you're confident that you can close the deal when needed. And that's about going to wrap things up for today's video, so I hope it gives you a good overview of not only the pros of pre-sales, but also the potential downfall. If you did get any value from the information I provided, I'd appreciate if you could give this video a thumbs up so I can get it to more individuals just like yourself who want to learn more about pre-sales. And if you are interested in purchasing a pre-sale in Surrey, Langley, or the rest of the Fraser Valley, or you just want to chat about real estate, you can scroll down and hit the first link in the description to book a call with me at a time that works best for you. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you check out another video on my channel before you get out of here, and we'll see you in the next video.